Very good afternoon to all of you. My distinguished colleagues, Justice P.S. Narasimha, Justice Bhushan Gavai, Chief Justice Dipankar Datta, my dear colleagues, Justice Mahesh Sonak, Justice Girish Kulkarni, former distinguished colleagues from the Bombay High Court who are present here, including Justice Roshan Dalvi, Mr. R. Venkatramani, the Learned Attorney General for India, Manan Kumar Mishra ji, Srividya Raghavan, the Vice Chancellor, the Law Minister, Mr. Prabhakaran, Mr. Apurva Kumar Sharma, Mr. Jayant Jaibhave, the Attorney General, the Advocate General, Mr. Devidas Pangam, senior advocates, and all the invitees, and above all of you young students. I'm delighted to be here this afternoon to inaugurate the commencement of the first batch of the India International University of Legal Education and Research in Goa. You have a chancellor whose name has Shri, and you have a vice chancellor whose name has Sri. So you have my very distinguished colleague who is Justice Pamidigantam Sri Narasimha. In fact, Justice Lalit, my distinguished predecessor, would always welcome him to the judge's lounge by calling out his whole name every morning. And then, of course, you have Srividya Raghavan, the Vice Chancellor. Now, I was just doing a little Google search and I found that the acronym SRI today stands for Socially Responsible Investing. But then if you travel beyond today's generation, you'll find that SRI is really a combination of resplendence, wealth, and prosperity. It reflects in our tradition, in that sense, an amalgam of Lakshmi and Saraswati, which I know Narasimha has in abundant measure, having been a very distinguished senior advocate and now a purveyor of knowledge and intellect in the Supreme Court. And I dare say the same holds for the Vice Chancellor as well. It's really unique that the Bar Council of India Trust has established the university for which we all assemble here this afternoon. The Bar Council of India Trust was responsible for the very genesis of NLSIU at Bangalore. The pioneer of modern legal education in India. NLSIU started off as an experiment, and what a successful experiment it turned out to be. Inspired by its success, national law universities were established soon thereafter across the country, and the NLU model, so to speak, has been replicated in universities across India. Some of them are truly national law schools. Others only use the word national, but are basically 5-year law colleges. So we have to determine, as we chart the course for the future, on which side of the line will this university fall? The truly international, global national law universities, or just another 5-year law university? No one can deny that the Bar Council of India Trust accomplished its statutory function of promoting legal education in the country by setting up the National Law University model. More than ever before, students are keen to pursue the study of law each year as more and more young law graduates enter the legal profession. Of course, the promotion of legal education is an evolving process, a continuing process. So we can't say that the process has culminated in a final milestone. So the Bar Council today has established another university, the IIULER. If the NLSIU is to be a yardstick with which we make an expectation of the future of this university, I'm sure this is going to be a resounding success as well, and will be at the realm of a legal revolution in India. I'm certain that a bright future lays ahead under the able leadership of the Bar Council of India Trust, the distinguished Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Srividya Raghavan, and other faculty members. The appellation which we have given to this university contains the word international, and it refers to legal education and research, but I think the critical areas are the word international and the phrase legal research, which is a value addition which we want to give this university to distinguish it, as I said, from another of its genre, namely another 5-year law course. Now, it is amazing that the government of Goa has sponsored this by giving 50 acres of land. I call it amazing and significant because, to my mind, Goa is a unique amalgam of culture, of language, of civilization, all brought together in a uniquely tranquil fabric which represents Goa. So I do believe that the setting up of an international center for legal education and research in Goa is not just another event to mark, but it really represents the very ethos and culture of Goa, a culture which brings together, as I said, different, but a very pluralistic society, which lies at the very heart and foundation of this beautiful state. Now, reflecting as I do on the raison d'etre of this university, first, I do believe it has to be a center for cutting-edge research in legal education and law. Second, I do believe that if we have to truly be faithful to this being an international center, we must source people irrespective of their national origin or domicile. By sourcing people irrespective of their national origin or domicile, we do not pay disrespect to the fact that there are people of talent within the country. But I think it would be necessary for us to broaden our horizons to understand where global India is heading towards in the next few years, or in the next few decades. India is no longer an importer of capital. India is as much as an exporter of capital, but India has always been an exporter of soft capital in terms of our human resources. And it is important that we understand where India stands at the cusp in this century, a cusp of a country, of a civilization, of a culture, of a society which is open to global ideas, which is willing to amalgamate our traditional ways of thinking with modern aspirations which our young generation leads us to carve out for them. So I do believe that it is important for us to source the best minds, wherever they may be, without really being provincial in our outlook. Third, we must have a student body which is inclusive. One of the problems which national law universities have faced is perhaps this, that the model which we use to select students to our national law universities does not always promote value-based legal education. Because we have a common law entrance examination, the CLAT, and we test the ability of students to crack the CLAT. Now, cracking the CLAT does not necessarily result in students who have the right ethos to pursue a career in the law, of reflecting the the culture of the law in our country as a representative of a just society, a value-based society, of an ethical society. And therefore, I think as we go forward, I would appeal both to the Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, and the other members of the faculty to place importance on having value-based, inclusive legal education for students from diverse backgrounds. The society would do well to amalgamate technology with access to legal education. So the resources which come into this university must not only be an exclusive privilege for those who have access to the university, but those resources can be used by pitchforking technology, by promoting access to other students who are not as fortunate as the students who will be coming to this university are. I think we must also motivate our faculty to achieve excellence by having faculty training and faculty advancement programs, to encourage faculty to do consulting work, cutting-edge legal research, by motivating them to write, to produce research papers of excellence in legal education. Now, quality legal education requires resources. When I was a student of Delhi University, we paid something around 120 rupees every quarter. Yet our university had professors like Dr. Upendra Bakshi, Dr. Madhav Menon himself, Professor Lautika Sarkar, Dr. B. Shivramaya, who taught us law and poverty, a galaxy of distinguished professors, and of course Dr. Tripathi, Dr. P.K. Tripathi. But times have changed. You can't have a quality legal university on fees of 120 rupees a quarter. Which also means that you cannot shut out students who will not be able to pay for quality legal education. So we need to find this balance between allowing students to access quality legal education, but in our effort to broaden access, not destroy the base of quality legal education. So we need to ensure that resources come into the university by establishing chairs perhaps funded by eminent members of the bar, but also for chairs which are funded by institutional organizations, which are today ready to fund chairs as they have in the national law universities. So these are some of my thoughts for the future of the university itself. But today we are speaking to the students. I'm here to talk to the students. So dear students, you stand on the threshold of the legal profession. Remember that the 5 years of legal education will be truly transformative. You will undergo a radical transformation, both on the personal front as well as on your professional front. Don't see your years of study here as purely a pursuit of academics, but a pursuit of all that is worth striving for in life itself. Spare no effort in obtaining knowledge of the subjects that you will study. But above all, attempt to know yourself. The quest to know yourself is a continuing quest. I don't think I have attained that quest myself, even at this point of time in my life. But you must begin that quest to know yourself early, which is when you will see yourself evolve into individual personhood as your life goes along. Seek better for your soul and understanding your mind. In the eternal words of the Bard of Avon, William Shakespeare, this above all, to thine own self be true. Be true to yourself. Do understand that a flame burns in your heart. The legal profession is sometimes too commercial and perhaps desanitized to human suffering and pain. The grave danger which you will face in your life is when the flame within you is extinguished, and you will have to constantly do something to ensure that the flame keeps burning, and these flames today of the light which we lit this afternoon continue to burn. It's so easy to let the flame within you die. So my appeal to you is, do something, add a little bit more of the medium which keeps the flame burning. But you have to keep adding to that medium every few hours, if not every few days, in your own heart. You will be hard-pressed to find a bigger melting pot of cultures than a university which has students from all over the country. You will encounter people, habits, and cultures so very different from your own. Remember to have an open mind, to be respectful, and to accept others for who they are. Don't be afraid of people who are not exactly like you. Instead, attempt to learn from them what you don't already know. The best of friends are often found in the people most different from us. Extend the warmth of friendship to all those you encounter, and in return, you will get much more than what you give. It is not only your peers and professors that you must treat with respect and kindness, but all those you interact with. Every human being deserves the same amount of respect, regardless of the money or the power that they possess. Luck plays an incalculable role in determining the paths of each of our lives. And many of us are not lucky, as others have been, to attend a good school, a good university, and then go on to work on a good job. Reminding oneself of this is useful in our collective effort to be more empathetic to those around us. In the academic arena, as in life, remember to question everything. The philosopher René Descartes said, "Cogito ergo sum," I think and therefore I am. The human quality which distinguishes us from other elements of the universe is the ability to think, and therefore we are. I take the liberty to modify that for you to say, interego ergo sum. I question and therefore I am. The essence of the legal profession is to question and not to accept. If you start accepting what is before you as social truths, we don't deserve to be lawyers and judges. The basis of our existence as lawyers and judges is that we question and we do not accept what is given to us, even as a statement of position. Do not take anything to be the gospel truth merely because somebody tells you that what they are saying is incontrovertibly true. Every day in your legal books, you will realize that there are cases which challenge what was incontrovertibly true and led you to a path of a new truth, a new unraveling of the truth. It is likely that they are convinced of the truth of their own opinion, but that does not absolve or excuse you of your duty to scrutinize the ideas you come across and to take a reasoned stance. University education, in other words, stands for reason, for tolerance, for the adventure of ideas, and for the search of truth. I'm sure your professors will join me in urging you to inculcate the spirit of inquiry, which will hold you in good stead in the legal profession. While questioning the world around you, do not forget to test your own opinions on the same anvil. Question yourself. Don't only learn to question others. Too very often, people learn to question others, to challenge the judgments of others, but accept their own value judgments as sacrosanct. When you question others, remember you have to question yourselves as well. And questioning your own self means that you must realize that you could be wrong on many more occasions that you imagined that you were. Examine and re-examine your own stance as you learn about the world around you. But the spirit of inquiry does not mean that you question everything. It also requires you to be insatiably curious. Your professors will introduce you to new ideas every day, as will your peers. Do not restrict yourselves to the readings which are prescribed for every class. With the sole motivation of attaining the highest possible grade, you have these little books. When I was doing my law, they used to be called Dukkis in Delhi University. In Mumbai University, they will call the Jabwalas. So if you are smart, you can get an A+ without a minimum of effort. But that's not the test. The test is not about how smart you are in getting the best grade with the least possible effort. There's something beyond that in learning the law. Be curious about each subject and seek to learn for the sake of knowledge itself. There is no out-of-syllabus question when it comes to curiosity about the world around us. Of course, working hard is a prerequisite to success. Strive towards achieving your goals with single-minded dedication. I will not lie to you and say that you will succeed without exception as long as you work hard. I know of cases I lost, though I thought I'd worked harder than my opponent. But there was something in the case that lay just beyond me and my abilities. You will fail, as I have failed in life. You will be disappointed, as I have faced disappointment in life. And you will find yourself heartbroken, as I have been heartbroken in life. But do not let that deter you from pursuing your goals. Learn from your mistakes, for it is not only your successes that will shape you as an individual, but also your failures. Our failures are more important in so many ways than even our successes. Our successes give us a high. Our failures teach us the essence of our existence. Your professors will be some of the best guides you have in this journey. I cannot help but remember my own days at the Faculty of Law in Delhi University, where, as I said, Professor Upendra Bakshi, Professor Lotika Sarkar, Dr. B. Shivramaya, Dr. B. Erabi, they shaped the individual and the judge that I am today. Dr. Madhav Menon, I went to for editing a paper which I was writing, which was published in the Journal of the Bar Council of India Trust, the Journal of the Bar Council of India, and it was called Evolving Trends and Locus Standi, Models for Decision Making. And I had ended my paper with a quotation. And Dr. Madhav Menon in the Bar Council of India Trust looked up to me and said, never end a paper with a quotation, because what have you said in the paper? Does it end only with something which somebody else has said? Of course, education at the law fac, as we used to call it in Delhi University, was not restricted to the classrooms, but spilled over to the hostel rooms, the hallways, the canteen, the dormitory, and the adda that groups of friends shared. Before I'm accused of being a Chief Justice who is all work and no play, I must say that my time at Delhi University was also great fun. Not many are aware of this, but I moonlighted as a radio jockey in my earlier 20s in All India Radio, doing programs like Play It Cool or A Date With You or Sunday Requests. My love for music persists only even today. So after I'm done with the music of the lawyers, which is not always music to the ears, I go back and listen to music which is music to the ears every day of my life. I encourage each of you to have a hobby or participate in an activity which interests you outside of the law. Life is long, and you may not remember that you scored a grade of 90 instead of a 95, but you will regret missing out on your friend's or best friend's birthday party. My advice to you today has touched upon numerous themes. I have exhorted you to know yourself, to be kind to yourself, just as you are kind to others, to have an open mind, to inculcate the spirit of inquiry, to work hard, and to have fun. Do remember to have fun. Take your work seriously, but don't take yourself seriously. That is a fairly long list of things for any 18-year-old to be doing, and you may doubt your ability to do it all. Here I will share a secret with you all. Well, it is not so much of a secret as an oft forgotten truth. No one is born perfect. When I was young, I used to suffer from constant nasal congestion, and I went to this distinguished doctor at what was then a public hospital, the Willingdon Hospital, which is today the Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. And he looked at me and said, "Son," he said, "God didn't make human beings with calipers." And that's something which has always stuck to me. God doesn't make human beings with calipers. So nobody is born perfect. Learn to love your imperfections, because your imperfections give you that human quality. If we were perfect, we would be robots. And we are not robots. We are human beings. The good news, however, is that we can get where we want to be by practicing the qualities which we seek to possess. We can practice being kind. We can practice the spirit of inquiry. We can practice the exercise of attempting to know ourselves. And we can also practice trying to be fun. I hope none of you needs to practice that. But if you do, what better place than the beautiful beaches of Goa? Finally, I urge each of you to remember that the law cannot be divorced from social change. Regardless of whether you are enrolled for a BA LLB program or a BBA LLB program, you must make it your mission to effect societal change. The law is a powerful tool in the hands of people, but even more so in the hands of lawyers who are familiar with the ins and outs of functioning. As lawyers, we appeared for the best, but we sometimes also appeared for not the very best, people who are in breach of the law. But every one of our appearances taught us something about what it is to be a human and why people behave as they do. If you can say that you have influenced the course of a single life for the better, or that you have touched a single soul, then you would have succeeded beyond measure. I hope I have not given you a mind-boggling set of ideas. I'm not sure I have followed all of them, but as you know, it's easier to preach than it is to practice. And I hope that in the course of preaching to you, I practice better when I wake up every morning from tomorrow onwards. Once again, I offer my heartiest congratulations to everyone involved in establishing this university. I compliment the vision of the Bar Council of India Trust. Truly, it requires that lawyers who constitute the Bar Council of India Trust are not fancy lawyers who have gone to elite law schools across the world, but their vision has emanated from the grassroots where they have grown from. So you must understand that from the grassroots as you rise, you have the vision of the great forest, the great foliage that defines our national culture. Therefore, my great appreciation for the Bar Council of India Trust, headed by its able chairperson, the Bar Council of Maharashtra, Goa, the government of Goa, who have all collaborated together to produce what I hope will be a center of excellence. My sincere best wishes as you begin the first academic session of the first academic year. Good luck and Godspeed. Thank you.